What's up, YouTubers? It's Ernie, Blerd Without Fear. So today we're going to be talking about Dark Knight's metal. Or more specifically, we're going to be talking about the lead up to Dark Knight's metal, because we're going to be getting more into that. I'm going to try and keep as current with Dark Knight's metal as humanly possible. And I am going to let you know I'm adding a lot on my plate, because I'm also keeping it with Secret Empire too on the Marvel side of things. So it's going to be real interesting how this all kind of turns out. Before we dig in, I post new videos every week. Make sure to click subscribe so you can become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers, and also tap that bell button so you make sure you don't miss anything. We're going to be taking a hard look at the lead up so you guys can get kind of caught up and get woke, as it were, to what is going to be going on and the gravity behind some of these things that are going to be happening. The best place to start with Dark Knight's metal is with the Forge, number 1. And in the Forge number 1, we get to see a little bit of narration that kind of alludes, if you're familiar with the comics, Hawkman and Hawkwoman or Hawkgirl. I'm never sure which one it is. Hawkwoman seems more appropriate. It's mostly focused on Carter Hall, who is Hawkman, of course. And what we see is what looks like, people riding down the night and coming across this massive spaceship that is seemingly damaged and crashing down to Earth. And there's a lot of, the thing with a lot of the metal stuff that I've noticed, there's a lot of cutbacks between what's going on elsewhere and what's going on in the past and what's going on right now. So there's a lot of jumping around. I'm going to try and keep it as coherent as humanly possible. and metal is making it no easier. It's not happening here. Scott Snyder, God love him, but he is not making it an easy job for anybody to do this. Carter Hall has been seeing visions of things from the past and things that have yet to come. And he even sees, this nightmare world where there's this guy who very eerily looks like Batman. This statue just lording over, the masses. And it's kind of crazy. It's really something you're just like, oh my God, what the fuck? And it's one of those things too where we discover that, there are these tribes, and that there were initially 3 of them. And it was the tribe of the hawk, I believe there was a tribe of the bear, and the tribe of the wolf. And apparently there was a 4th tribe, which I believe split away from the hawk, which is the bat. And that just kind of lets you know that there's something going on in the mythos of Batman, something that is, that we've never known before, and it's been brewing this entire time. Basically, what we kind of start discovering is that Batman is up to something, and that's really what you need to keep up with. That is the main idea of metal, is that Batman is doing what he does best. Hawkman's like, hey, I just saved you from a facility that has your name on it. This is a Wayne Enterprises black site. What is it doing this close to Atlantis? And of course, Batman, is being snarky, as always, saying, hey, I know what you got hanging out in Atlantis. I know what dirty secrets you're keeping, so don't worry about what the fuck I'm doing. And that's kind of the theme for this, is that Batman is just not telling people anything. The Guardians are even kind of worried about what Batman is doing, to the point that they send Hal Jordan to try and figure out what's going on. They're like, hey, we need to get a Green Lantern down there and stat. We need to find out exactly what the hell is happening down there. What is Bruce Wayne doing that is causing this cosmic disruption? And of course, when Hal Jordan gets down there, he goes into the Batcave and he gets attacked by Duke Thomas, who's keeping guard over the Batcave. And for those of you who aren't familiar, Duke Thomas is technically one of Bruce Wayne's latest wards, who he took in after Duke's mother fell prey to the Joker. And that's something to kind of keep in mind, because I want to say Duke popped up during the New 52, which I'm not familiar with a lot of that run, so I can't speak to it, but that is something to know. Maybe I'll do a video on Duke Thomas a little later, because he is going to be getting a little bit more limelight here coming up during this whole metal tie-in. We'll address it when it becomes appropriate, but just know that he is a former Robin and one of Batman's latest allies, who now goes by the name of The Signal. After Green Lantern and the Signal, get over their whole, hey, we're superheroes and we're meeting for the, the first, second, or third times, and we gotta, we got to fight each other for a few minutes. They get past that, and they realize that they have delved deep into a part of the Batcave that neither one of them is familiar with. And this is also the moment that they realize that Batman has a Black Ops team, which, I mean, Batman's always kind of had a little rogue team on the side, the Outsiders, which, essentially is like, Katana and Black Lightning, Mr. Terrific, and, so on. So it's like, this was really not news or anything. I mean, it's not news to us, but it's definitely news to them. But yeah, so there's that. And like I said, Batman's secrets have secrets, and Batman is doing all this shady stuff. And to give you an idea, we get an Elsewhere scene where we see that he's got the Plastic Man, at least what we can only assume is the Plastic Man, on ice. Keeping him in some kind of weird cryogenic stasis so that, for whatever reason, we don't know. And, Mr. Terrific is just going along with it because he's just like, hey, whatever, because comic books. And Hal Jordan's ring starts just losing it and just going off, like just shining brighter than ever. Green Lantern and Duke Thomas wind up, coming to an agreement that, hey, look, something freaky is kind of going on down here, but we might want to look into it. So they, make kind of a temporary alliance. They come to a giant iron door that just looks ominous as fuck. And when they get to it, they realize, oh shit, Batman has been keeping the Joker down here in this Batcave beneath the Batcave. And the Joker is laughing maniacally, like he's been kind of speaking out to them this entire time. And we're gonna cut away from Green Lantern and the Signal and the Joker for a minute to take a peek at what's going on at the Fortress of Solitude. When we get there, we discover that Superman has given Batman a secret room that was deep under the fortress, in a place where Batman made Superman promise to never go down to and never look inside of. And he says, hey, look, I'm here. I've come to collect my things. And remember, you promised when I came to open this door, you wouldn't follow me. And of course, Superman, being the Boy Scout that he is, never looked, never asked, never inquired. But, he's worried because, and everyone is, the entire Justice League is worried about Batman because of what's going on. All the secrets, all the lies, all the subterfuge that has been going on with Batman has the entire league not so much scared, but just concerned. Because Batman is, at the end of the day, their friend. It's kind of like when someone that you are close with, someone that you consider your best friend, starts keeping secrets from you and doesn't want to let you in, and it makes you worried, and that's exactly what's going on here. And Superman's like, look, man, I am by your side. All you gotta do is let me in. Let me know what's going on. And Batman's like, look, it's not the fact that I don't trust anybody. It's the fact that I want to know what is going on. I want to know exactly what is happening before I get anyone else involved in it. And Superman's just like, well, he's like, I don't know how the heck you're going to open the door to that secret room of yours because nothing on Earth could possibly open it. And that is when we get the appearance of Mr. Miracle in DC Rebirth for the first time. And the funny thing about it is that Miracle Man's like, so you mean to tell me we're going to go to a place that has a door with a lock that no human could ever open? And when he's asking about the key, Batman's like, I shot the key into the sun. And Batman's like, all I need you to do, Mr. Miracle, is open the door. And he does it. And when he does so, Mr. Miracle blasts back out to where Batman is and is like, you have got to be bullshitting me. There's no way on Earth you would have something like this hidden here. And Mr. Miracle gives him fair warning. He's like, hey, whatever you got going on here, you need to get the fuck away from this. And Batman the whole time is just like, good day, sir. I said good day. And what was behind that door is revealed to be Batman has the corpse of the Anti-Monitor, which was originally turned into a tower. Which I want to say this happened in Infinite Crisis, which, like, once again, these are things that, man, we will have to go back and touch on in later videos, because it's just like, wow, dude. I mean, these are big reveals, like, happening in just this first tie-in book. By the time we get to the casting one-shot, there's a secret society that has been keeping watch over all these major events. It looks like the Great Wizard who gives Shazam his powers is there. Ra's al Ghul is there. Yes, I said Ra's al Ghul, not Ra's al Ghul, because, I don't know, just always seemed like a Ra's. We see the wizard stabbing a dagger bursting with lightning into this pedestal, and it's kind of giving us this idea that it looks like some kind of ritual is being enacted. And like I said, we want to keep an eye on this whole ritual thing because it's gonna come back up later. We flash forward and find that Carter Hall and Shiara have been using their resources to perform all these archaeological expeditions, making these scientific discoveries to try and find out exactly what is this darkness that seems to be looming on the horizon. And they end up seeing something great and terrible, like some omnipotent dark being that seems to have their eye on Earth. And it's not something that's imminently attacking, it's just something that's watching and waiting for the next move. And we also discover that Carter Hall has seemingly, and it seems like Carter Hall didn't quite achieve what he was trying to achieve. And you see him go through some dark portal, supposedly never to be seen or heard from again. We might get some build up into that when we get further into Metal, because as far as I'm aware, I don't think Hawkman has been around much outside of this event, which kind of seems to be building around the mythology of the nth metal, which is kind of Hawkman's thing, so eventually at some point he will probably factor back in. Delving back into Batman's secrets, we also learn Wonder Woman gifted Batman a sword called the Sunblade, which was apparently forged by Hephaestus, made of what they call the 8th metal. And this is something that's important because it turns out later that Batman, while doing some dungeon delving in, I think it's in Arizona, he comes across an old Cadmus black site, which for those unfamiliar, Cadmus is one of those operations that dealt primarily in aliens and mutant creatures. Kind of a Superman, Supergirl foil, if you will. Batman comes across Talia al Ghul, who has another piece to the puzzle that Batman wants. And it's something that they call the 9th metal, or the nth metal. And this is a blade that carries great power because this is the same blade that we spoke about earlier. This is the blade that has the power of Shazam. And this is something to keep up with because Shazam is yet to be seen in DC Rebirth. We've seen the Great Wizard who gave him his powers up to this point. We have yet to see Shazam himself. And Batman makes a trade with Talia, giving her the Sunblade for the Blade of Shazam. Or at least that's what I'm going to call it. Now, the thing that we really kind of want to get back to is Green Lantern and Duke Thomas. Because last we left off, Green Lantern and Duke Thomas found Joker in this secret facility, this secret Batcave prison underneath the Batcave. Of course, Hal Jordan's been around long enough, he knows you don't trust the Joker. But the Joker ends up goading Duke Thomas, using how he tortured and poisoned Duke's mother with the Joker toxin to trick Duke Thomas into short-circuiting the electric barrier that's keeping Joker trapped in, Batman's little secret prison. The whole time we kind of get the idea that Joker knows something that everyone else doesn't. And the Joker ends up skulking off and they go after him, but the only reason he's getting the better of Green Lantern in this fight is because Green Lantern's ring is shorted out. And it's kind of funny, he's just putting the screws to him, hitting him with that crowbar, probably the same one he beat Jason Todd to death with. All the while this fight is going on, Joker reveals that Batman had a reason for taking Duke Thomas in. And it's because Duke Thomas carries something that many people don't. He carries a very special gene called the Meta Gene. So apparently Duke Thomas has powers that have yet to be unlocked. And the reason why Duke Thomas has this meta gene, and it seems like what Scott Snyder's doing is tying the nth metal into the whole metahuman situation, tying the nth metal to the metahuman gene, and Joker's like, hey, you have this metal running through your blood. Basically telling Duke Thomas that he is something special. His existence is calling out to something in the dark and has gotten its attention, almost like it's some weird Eye of Sauron type deal. But before Joker can get too crazy, they end up capturing him. And the whole time Joker's like, dude, some bad shit is coming this way, just you wait. It is coming. And he says, trust me, y'all are not ready for it. And by this time, Batman returns. Oh, see what I did there? And the Joker kind of skulks off and gets away. And Batman's pissed because they let Joker get away and Batman needed him for what he doesn't really say. And Batman reveals that he was building a machine that was pretty much designed to ensure that there would always be a Batman around. He was trying to build this machine, but before he could finish it, he died at the hands of the Joker. Pretty much the only thing that could bring him back was the Dionysium. And for those not familiar with Dionysium, it's one of the main ingredients in the Lazarus pit. It basically has the ability to extend life, to grant immortality. There's a lot of craziness going on with that, but essentially just know that the Dionysium is what kept Batman alive after the Joker killed him. But when Batman was resurrected, he got these crazy visions. It basically let him know that there's something coming, that there was something in the darkness, not unlike what Joker was warning him about. And of course, Green Lantern's thinking the same thing that probably the reader is, and that's, what the hell could you possibly be doing that is getting the attention of the Guardians of the Universe? And Batman is literally just like, dude, what should give you pause is that you have to ask that question. Batman whips out that dagger with the power of Shazam, and it begins affecting Duke Thomas just by being in close proximity to it. And this is when they realize that Duke is part of the key to what's going on, and he reveals the machine, kind of a light form of it, the way that Batman had originally built it before it was finished. Batman's like, hey, Green Lantern, give him your ring so that he can build the machine. And when Duke Thomas takes the ring, he is capable of using his power of will to create the machine that Batman had lost. And Batman uses the machine, but when he does so, it racks his brain. This is when we realize that, hey, there is something coming. Underneath Gotham, thousands of miles beneath Gotham City, we see some secret society cloaked and robed in these skeletal masks and these, dark robes, and you see them kind of nestled around this iconography of a bat. That's pretty much letting you know right there that we are looking at the tribe of the Bat. And they give the warning that the Dark Knights are coming, and with them, the true father of Batman. And this is pretty much where Dark Knight's metal is going to begin, where we see all these different incarnations of Batman. These dark, twisted, evil versions of him. This is where we're going to see them come into play. So that's where we're going to leave it here, and in the next video, we're going to really delve into the first couple of issues of Dark Knight's metal. So hey, let me know in the comments what you guys think about these dark, evil versions of Batman. If you like this video, click the like button. If you want to see more awesome videos like this one, click subscribe so you can become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers and tap the bell button so you don't miss anything. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Plus Ultra.